Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we're going to be reviewing a track from an act named Toby TomTom, titled Tomorrow Yesterday. This may seem like I'm trying to shoot this like a spooky film, it's not. We're still working out the green screen stuff, so if we switch over to here, at least I don't have the dandruff stuff going on in my on my cam, so to speak. Just before we get into the review, if you're working with a green screen, try looking at yourself with SoundCloud as a background, because that is an unforgiving white. If there's any issue with the green screen, you're going to see it with a white background. But anyways, we got ourselves Tomorrow Yesterday, which is the latest track by Toby TomTom. We've got Canon Interview on Living in the Moment by NBA superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo. Interview Inspire. A song? Yes. Why worry about tomorrow yesterday when today is the most important day? I think that's fantastic. I think that's totally fair. That's a good... it releases on the 25th. So you'll be seeing this after it's released. It released on the 25th of February. But we've got... It's been a labor of love, countless hours in the studio, working out the instrumental and vocal arrangements, mixing with my man Frank F. I believe that is Frank Ferreira on guitar. Getting that spirit and vibrate. Can't wait to drop to you... tomorrow yesterday, sorry. On the world, yo. Be in the moment. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year. It is mildly unbelievable that by the time you're watching this, we're already in March. This year is flying by. I'm recording this late February because I'm usually like a fortnight ahead with the reviews I do. But anyways, we're going to listen through this track from start till finish. I'm going to hear what we think. Let's go. Can we get the single art up? Here, we just got a single art for Tomorrow Yesterday here. Single art for Tomorrow Yesterday by Toby TomTom. Just want to say, like, if we go listen through that intro one more time, right? Got drums, some strings. We got some vocal modulation or synthetic modulation there. We got some organs, but some woodwinds, a drum fill. There is no filler, man. There's no intro core. We are straight into it, straight into the groove. I can hear that guitar in there. It's quite funky, isn't it? I like those vocal samples that we had with Today Is a Good Day. I like the sentiment, the appreciation for the present. It's really positive, and a lot of the brightness, the complexity of arrangement contrasts well with the simplicity of message. I like that.
Have you never been in love? Ever thought about it? Up, down like a roller coaster, can't live without it. Crazy in love, insane when it's lost. Scared to fall in love again, don't wanna pay the cost, no.
It's a very busy arrangement, as I mentioned before. I think we have some xylophones or a marimba or something like that with the drums, these different vocal takes. We have some interesting sort of breakbeats and fills in there. And the vocals are the one thing that is, I guess, consistent. That you can easily hang on to the vocals whilst the rest of the stuff is going on around you. There's a lot to take in and appreciate in the first listen of Tomorrow Yesterday. I thoroughly recommend that if people enjoy listening to this review, they give it a few more times just to be able to take in all the different stuff individually. Alright, cool.
Worried about tomorrow, yesterday, but today's the good day.
It's very funky. Clearly, Toby TomTom is someone who knows how to arrange a track and keep things interesting and give these individual elements their time to shine. There's multiple instances of call and response there, or like staging of the individual elements kind of introducing themselves. Sometimes we have bass lines, sometimes we give the drums a little bit of a focus, sometimes the vocals are, sometimes the harmonic elements are. It's a really illustrious tapestry that we have here, and I'm enjoying it so far. I like that brass in there as well. It complements the vocals well. Oh, lovely harmony there. Yeah, this is some aggressive vocal modulation we have here. I haven't really heard anything like this in quite a while, but I've got a lot of love for it. I like it when people go a bit harder on that side of things, when they really kind of mess with their voice. In a way that sounds cool because I feel like either, if you're going to do it, why half-ass it, you know? It becomes more of an instrumental arrangement in there. The message comes through clearly, but it becomes more of a synthetic element rather than like, yeah. The wholesome element is maintained though.
Sitting on the sun like my name is Giannis. Looking at the moon 'cause the day is on us. 'Cause the 25 is all we care. It's legendary, no miscarriage. I used to dream about it, think about it, worry about tomorrow, yesterday, but today's the good day.
Today's the good day. Don't worry about tomorrow. Today's the good day. I appreciate being in the present in that moment there. I was expecting the guitar to be more prominent in the mix, but I suppose when you're balancing all the different other channels that you have within a mix, it can be tricky to like have everything stand out equally, you know? Obviously the vocals were the focal point of the mix. They came through really nice and clearly. I think the vocals were kind of at the limit of how loud they could be before it kind of became a little bit too much for the rest of it, but they rode that line well. Some LP scratch with the clicks we had before. Okay. Alright. I'm assuming that's probably going into the next track or another release that's coming out soon. Nice way to sort of hint to the transition to something different. Yeah, I mean, like, this is the conclusion. I think that a lot of people will be able to understand what the song is about and easily relate to it. Or maybe not necessarily relate to it, because I think a lot of us take our days for granted. You know, have to be thankful to Toby TomTom, though, for reminding people that you can just not be as concerned with the future as with the present, because it is a shame when our days pass us by. The story that the song is about, it's catchy, it's relevant. A lot of us are sort of time poor at the moment. We don't have a lot of time, so you know, and then we spend it stressing. The story was sung well. I liked the vocal effects chain, but I also appreciated the intent that went into it. The way the guy sang and was fantastic. You know, if we ever listen through another, well, maybe we'll listen to the verse again. So we got the chorus again, right? Okay.
Have you never been in love? Ever thought about it? Up, down like a roller coaster, can't live without it. Crazy in love, insane when it's lost. Scared to fall in love again, don't wanna pay the cost, no.
Okay, so we had that verse there where we were talking about falling in love, how it can make you feel how we need it, but how it can really mess us up. And how when we lose that person, sometimes it may feel like we don't have a future, so we just gotta try and take it a day at a time. Yeah. He talked about the song being a labor of love, and to have love as a part of the song, you know, along with other things, it's cool. It's cool little connection there, you know. It sounds like a labor of love. Toby TomTom sounds like he's passionate about what he is singing about, and he hits the notes really well. It could come down to the vocal modulation, but you can typically hear if someone's got good vocal technique, and I think that Toby does. It's fun. It was fun to listen to him singing. Notwithstanding the story of the song itself, I mentioned the amount of the complexity to the arrangement. It's it could easily have been too much. Again, when I mentioned the loudness of the vocals in the mix, riding a fine line, I think a similar sentiment could be provided for the situation that we had. Similar situation could be said in regards to what we did with the amount of different instruments we had. Like we had oh goodness, we had different vocal takes. Let's just say 2 to 3 vocals plus the guitar, the bass, the drums. I think there was like a flute or a woodwind sample or something like that, plus a marimba, maybe some Rhodes, or there was a good sort of near a dozen different instruments within this. And everything was just stuck together in a way that made a lot of sense, and that's not a really easy thing to do, especially to fit that into a 2.5 minute track. That's a lot less real estate than you'd have with like a 3 or 4 minute one. So to try and have such a complex composition. You gotta love that. And I suppose to avoid continuously saying complex, I think part of what made the variety of different inputs work together is that we tried to have them again come as sometimes things came and went. You know, you didn't always have the organ, you didn't always have the guitar. It was often to fill in space for like a lead melody when there was no singing, for example. And the overall chord or the overall harmony was formed by these different things being staged in their different frequency spectrums, and that comes down, I suppose, to the production, the recording, mixing, and mastering. Where I did like how this was mixed and mastered. I liked how the vocals were recorded, and I think the instruments sounded great in the mix, which is testament to how the initial recording process worked, you know. Yeah, it would have been difficult to have gain staged and EQ'd and panned everything in the way that it occurred. Because there was samples and vocal chops as well. Again, there are a million ways in which this mix could have gone horrendously wrong, but I think that Toby TomTom managed to nail it. We found the relative loudness of everything. We obviously had different ways of listening back to the mix to hear how it sounded on headphones versus speakers and stuff like that. And the mastering the track was nice and loud without pumping too much. The reason I was like, whoa, this is loud initially is because I had my headphones turned up from a previous track. Because not all the music that I get is mastered properly, and sometimes it's a bit too quiet. And the problem with that is not that I think all music should be loud, but especially if you've already put mastering and you haven't set gain stage it correctly, or you haven't got a high enough volume with the core instruments in the mix before it gets to the master chain, you have issues with the compression limiting and all that kind of stuff, where sometimes they can misfire, and it's not great, especially when it's your first impression. But we didn't have that issue with Toby TomTom. Effectively, that's my review. I think that the story was fantastic, the vocals were great, I liked the style of them, synthetic nature of them, I liked the attitude and the emotions, you know, the emoting within the performance. The structure of the song, you had like sort of chorus, sort of verse, chorus, verse, and then the outro part. It was nice and simple. Again, parts were all played fantastically, and shout out to Frank Ferrer when I did hear him. Lovely pentatonic blues lead parts, really spicy little melodies there on that guitar, and yeah, the production was dope. Yeah, that's effectively my review though of Toby TomTom and Tomorrow Yesterday. Basically, if you enjoyed, again, it looks like a spooky story. I'm not taking the piss. It's just that I'm still figuring out how to get an even coating on my green screen at the moment. I'll probably put some lighting up here as well, because apparently you need to have an unlimited lighting budget to be able to do a semi-decent green screen. But please do go show Toby TomTom some love via the various social medias and their SoundCloud page, and give a shout out to Frank Pereira for their work on this if you enjoy the music. And please stay cool and stay safe, and remember to support your local musicians and artists. At this point in time, is need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on. The world. Catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.